works.
That fuse.
Right, you check both fuses first?
The hidden fuse.
Yeah. I mean, the fuses are, you could just look through them. I have them packed full of dielectric grease just because it keeps down on the corrosion on them. But yeah, you'll check fuses. If nothing's working at all, check your little key on signal. So, good luck with that. Maybe you'll leave that fuse box cover off. Okay, great. So let's get running, and as soon as he moves that truck, I'll let you start it up so you can see how to start it again.
Cool.
And I think we should be good.
Sweet.
Stuff like that, and you'll see a lot of signs on that already, just where like hoses barely touch against something, and they start to wear like a hole in them. So every so often, you just want to glance at things like the zip ties look like they're still tight, or they need to be tightened up. You know, maybe in 20, 30,000 miles, just go and just slightly tighten like little clamps and stuff like that. But usually the systems are pretty solid when they leave, so more likely you're not going to do any of it. But that's like the maintenance that I do when people come back in. It's like I just add zip ties, I look to see if things are wearing through, I look to see if anything looks wet, like it's leaking fuel. Just all your basic stuff. I mean, you should be checking the engine oil, you should be checking coolant level. The older Mercedes are funny. It's like they don't have a reservoir for their coolant, so the level is actually like a little down from the top, and that's normal. And when it expands too far, it just dumps on the ground. Like nowadays, we don't really do that. We put another reservoir, and it just feeds like a give and take with the reservoir. When it gets too hot and it expands too much, it goes in the reservoir. When it needs, it pulls it back out. I mean, that wouldn't be a bad little update to do on it too, but this is how they were designed. It works. So, okay, great, cool. Yeah, good luck. I don't know, these are fun cars, but you'll learn how to drive them.
Yeah.
You're gonna pull off from a big semi trucks and stuff.
Well, that's where I set up my help.
Did run out of fuel. The way that works is you actually just loosen that, righty tighty, lefty loosey, and you can prime the car's fuel system with this. Will actually pull fuel up, and here I'm like pushing fuel, probably making a puddle on the floor right now. The whole purpose of this pump is to prime the car when you run out of fuel. People that used to drive these cars and like still do carry extra fuel filters in their car.
Okay.
Because it'll get you broke down. If you were to go drive cross country right now, I don't mean to Michigan because you have like a new fuel filter and stuff on there, but if you're going out to like California, you're going to be on the road for a while, more likely you're going to have a couple of those in your glove compartment. You're going to have like a wrench to change it, and you're going to know that you have to prime it after you do that. Worst case, if you really airlocked it, you can crack injectors, just these little parts here, and crank it until they all start spraying fuel out, tighten it up, and it'll fire right up. Like basic stuff like that, you kind of want to know how to do it. You're in a good position because you have a vacuum gauge to see that stuff happening. So if you're running on diesel right now and like this filter is really getting super restricted, you're going to start pulling some negative vacuum. You're going to be like, oh, normally I run on diesel and it's at zero restriction. Now I'm at like 3 or 4 or 5 on diesel, so therefore you would suspect a restriction. And then again, you have your fuel supply and return lines that are clear. So you can actually, and we'll fire it up here in a minute, and you'll actually see, they always pull little bitsy air bubbles, but when you see tons of big, huge air bubbles and the car is shaking like it's going to die, and then you see tons of air returning, then you know that you are like introducing air into the fuel system somewhere. Maybe when you change the diesel fuel filter, the rubber O-ring didn't seat right, or if you're on grease, maybe that fuel filter needs to be tightened down a little bit more. But that's your basic stuff that you kind of want to know how to do. Also, the cold starting thing. I mean, if that glow plug circuit doesn't work, or those glow plugs, a few years, they're going to wear out. You're using them twice a day, or I mean, every time you start the car, they will wear out. You should be able to change out your own glow plugs, so you don't have to pay a ton of money to have it done. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. You have little wires that you have to move out of the way, 10 millimeters, and just unthread glow plugs and thread new ones in there.
Cool.
With just as easy as changing spark plugs.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to do those couple things so you don't have to pay shops money to do it for you. Especially you'll take it to some shop, they'll be like, oh, we don't know why it doesn't start, everything works. You know, because they have no idea like what's going on with it. But it's nice to be able to do that. That's a washable air filter. I know you can research that stuff. It's probably even in your book on how to wash it and oil it and stuff like that. And you can always, like worst case, you can always use a little bit of starting fluid to get this car started too. Just take off the air intake tube and just spray starting fluid in there. Don't go crazy with it because it's not really that good for the car. But that'll get it started if you're in a pinch. So, all right. This is just your washer fluid reservoir.
Okay, so do I need to hook that up to the pump or anything, or that's all going to be self-contained?
You're gonna try to find some kind of cool universal washer reservoir pump.
Got it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. Usually the pump sits inside and would be connected down there somewhere. I don't they have this other hose here. This goes to your wipers or whatever. I don't really see how pressurizing this hose is going to make that suck. So it seems like something's missing.
Huh. Okay.
I don't know. I hardly ever see the older ones in here. Usually I don't see cars that are older than the 80s.
Yeah.
So yeah.